All right, well, it looks like we've hit the hour mark, so we'll go ahead and get rolling. A little bit about myself. My name is Luke Offield. I work at Seiler Instruments out of St. Louis, Missouri, where I am an application engineer. I primarily help with the Bluebeam instruction, where I do give courses to a lot of our clients, and also handle Bluebeam support for our clients as well. And I really enjoy that, the aspect of the instruction side of things, because it's I don't know, providing instruction is definitely a way to keep things sharp for yourself. So today what we're going to be covering is kind of a, not too in the weeds, but a nice overview of the workflow, beginning from AutoCAD and then into Bluebeam, where we will basically set ourselves up to kind of return to AutoCAD, so we can best make best use of our markup capabilities and everything else that we can do within Revu for our plan review, and make sure that we can send the most accurate information back to our CAD designers. Hopefully at the end of this, I'll have some time for some questions. It just will sort of depend upon how much time we have towards the end, but just save all of those to the end. I know that there's a question box where you can add some information. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get rolling. Let me close this out. And I guess actually we will begin in AutoCAD. So there's a few different ways we can go about exporting our designs from AutoCAD into a PDF that Bluebeam can make use of. There's a few different ways we can set up our preferences for exporting those PDFs to Bluebeam as well. So just to kind of go through some of the options that we have in order to convert this page into a PDF that Bluebeam can utilize properly. Let's actually come down to our command line. We'll just type in options, sorry. And so right here on the plot and publish tab, we have our drop down here, and you can see I already actually have it selected to Bluebeam PDF. There's a lot of different, there's some other ways that we can print to PDF from here as well, but I'll just go ahead and have that selected. And of course, we can always select what file we're gonna, what location we're gonna output to as well. And moving on to other ways that we can convert this PDF from AutoCAD. We have our Bluebeam plugins, which are again located here on the output tab. And then we have a few different things available for us, and even create 3D PDFs, which Bluebeam can also utilize. If we want to make a batch PDF out of a whole lot of sheets, we can. That is also a possibility for us. One good thing to look at here is the settings. So just depending upon what you're wanting to happen when you do convert this into a PDF, you can rearrange some of your preferences here. And like I said, it's just a lot of it's kind of rather dependent upon how you want things to view, how you want them to appear once they are in Bluebeam. I have found, of course, monochrome seems to look the best once you get it into Revu. And then there is another method And then, yeah, of course, we have our Create PDF button right here, which is just going to instantly take this and create a PDF out of it and then open it right up into Revu. There is another option we have available to us here if we come over to our Plot button, also here on the Output tab. And there is a, we can also come here and select our Bluebeam PDF if we want, and we can apply that and have that be the kind of the standard for how we export these into a PDF. And another way that we can also create this PDF, and this is going to be something that's going to be a little bit different than the other manners that we've looked at. So we can, I can say where it's going to land, here on my desktop. But the important thing to look at here is our options. So this is going to be important if we're going to be utilizing the layers in Bluebeam, the layers that are created here in AutoCAD. If we want to make sure that those layers follow through over to Revu, then we're going to make sure that we have this box checked. And just to get a better idea of what that looks like, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that first. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And it's going to open up for me in Revu. Let's see. Actually, let me just switch over to Revu. And we'll open it up from the desktop here. And so the maintaining the layers that I mentioned in that previous walkthrough there where we exported from the PDF. So if we come to our layers tab, that's where we're really going to see all of this. So this is all of that layer information that was a part of that CAD file. And so it allows us to control visibility over any of those aspects. Any of those layers that are built there in AutoCAD are still going to exist here for us. And I can turn visibility on and off for all of those. And that is just depending upon how you need to interact with it. Once you have it in Revu 21, if I just want to make mention of that aspect first off, just because if you're going to need that layer information to be able to be altered after the fact, once you have it in Revu, then that's the manner that you're going to want to have to make use of. But let me kind of just display what the other side looks like if we just kind of utilize our Create PDF button right here from AutoCAD in the Output tab. And this one's just a little bit more straightforward. Let's see there again, we just kind of drop it on the desktop and give it a different name. Okay, so it's going through its process, and we now have that open in Revu. And the difference here, if we go about it through that manner, we're not going to have that layer information. But that's just dependent upon if you need that layer information. If we're only utilizing Revu for the markup capabilities, and maybe those layers aren't what we need, maybe you need your layers for something different. I know a lot of organizations will use these layers you'll create multiple layers just for the markups themselves, and you can use those to control visibility for different departments markups, so that the different disciplines that are doing markups on the same sheets, they don't have to commingle and get in each other's way. But doing it in that manner, if you're needing that layer of data from AutoCAD, it's not going to give it to you in this way. So those are the two bigger differences in how you go about exporting to Revu. And so now that we have the sheet open here for us, the kind of before we even really get started on doing any markups, we'll notice down here in this bottom corner that the scale is not set. So we're going to need to take care of that before we go any further. Sometimes, depending upon the sheet, sometimes we'll have that, like say, here we have that scale provided for us, 1/8 inch to 1 foot, and we can certainly use that. We can just click our scale not set button there, and then go to the preset that correlates to that. Luckily, that's the top one here. If we didn't have that information available, not on every, I've seen plenty of sheets where this scale information is not available, we could calibrate this page to just basically by using a measurement that's already provided on the page. So let's say we don't have that information available. I'm going to come over here to custom, and I'm going to click on calibrate next. And what that's going to do, it's going to give me a little dialog here. Basically, it's going to ask you to measure between two different points and tell it what that measurement is so it can apply that measurement to the rest of the page. So I'll click OK. Hopefully that is visible on your screen, but my cursor has now become a crosshair. So this is the beginning of this command where it's asking me to measure between 2 points. So I have this 10-foot measurement right here. I'm just going to go ahead and make use of that. So I'll click on one side of the measurement, and then I'll start to measure across. If you don't know this handy trick, sometimes it's hard enough to draw a straight line by hand, and it can also be hard to draw one here. But if I hold the Shift key, no matter where I move my mouse around, it's going to help me draw that straight line, if you didn't already know that aspect. So then I'll click again, and now I will basically just let this know that that measurement I just provided is 10 foot. And then I'll click apply scale, and we have that scale applied. Now we know that any measurements we apply from that point on should be accurate based upon the measurements that we gave it. So if you're ever in doubt about that, like I said, if sometimes the scale is provided, sometimes it's not, but we have other things that we can make use of. You could even make use of something like this, which is hopefully provided it is a common doorway width, which would be 36 inches. You could even calibrate it to that, and that would also help Revu understand the scale of the rest of the page. And that'll make sure that everything, all of your markups from that point are going to be accurate, especially, if there's any of you folks that do anything with, code enforcement or, safety inspections, something like that, like where you need something like egress distances. I know that those have to go in straight lines, something like that. That'll help make sure that all of those measurements are going to come out as accurate as possible for you. Another thing that is going to be important here, and it looks like there's something that you might run into depending upon the type of text that was used in AutoCAD. If they're not using a true type text, that is not going to be readable immediately by Revu 21. But we do have the powerful OCR function, and that command is located up here in our document dropdown. We come down here, and this is basically just character recognition. It's going to go through the page and find all of the text for us and make that text usable for us. You can modify some of the settings beforehand. I haven't really had to mess with this too much. It's usually just seems like it's pretty good to go right off the bat. And the OCR is also extremely useful if you are, let's say, handed a raster drawing as opposed to a vector drawing. If it's something that came by a scan, a scanned image, you're not going to have access to the line work, let alone the text, but the OCR function will find that text for you, even if it is a scanned image. So click OK and get that running. It shouldn't take too long to get this going. And let's see. There it goes. It seems like it's having an issue with the pop-up from that. Give me just 1 second here. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. But now, when we come to our select text cursor, we are going to be able to grab a hold of that text and manipulate it. Whereas before we didn't really have access to that. So let's say, there's a few different ways to be able to select the text. It always seems like it definitely works better for me going from left to right as opposed to right to left. Sometimes if you go left to right, it wants to select everything. But so if it were the case where the CAD designer were to export a PDF for you and you not have access to that text immediately, fear not, we do have that OCR command, and that is also, like I said, right here, found in your document menu. Control-Shift-O for the fans of the keyboard shortcuts. Bluebeam Revu has a lot of those, so if you're a fan of those things, that would be pretty handy to start memorizing. So, there could be some other useful tools that we can make use of, even beyond the markups that are possible within Revu. Let's say if file size is an issue for us and we want to make the file size a little bit more manageable for us, we can come to our document menu once more and come down here to the reduce file size. And when I click on that, it does bring up this other dialog. And the only thing I need to do to kind of get this ball rolling is to highlight the page that I am focused on currently. And it's also sort of rather dependent upon what you need to reduce or what you're willing to sacrifice in the reduction of this the compression of this file. So, if I'm really concerned about making sure that my image quality is going to be maintained, that's going to be towards this side. If I'm not as concerned with image quality, but I do want to reduce it some, I can add it more to the compression side. But if you, like I said, if you get too far on this side, and I think it does actually give you a warning here, your text is going to start to suffer as well if you take that too far. This center position is always kind of the recommended for Bluebeam Revu. And it's also sort of dependent upon the size of the file itself. The rate in reduction is not very drastic, maybe 5%. But let's say if you're working with a collection of a set of 80 PDF sheets, that 5% reduction overall of those pages could be significant. So especially if these pages are going to be shared around to different departments and different people to review, that could come in pretty handy and be important later on down the road. It's another thing that will set us up for victory on the other side of this. So if you do go through with this process, it is going to want to basically save it either as a new file or it will overwrite the current one. Just be aware of that. Let's see. So now that we have our scale set, if we needed to run the OCR to be able to make sure that we can access our text that's on the page, we have that accomplished as well. This is where we'll kind of get into the meat and potatoes of Revu, which is the markup capabilities of it. So we have a lot of, as you can see, I have some of my toolbars active here. This might look a little bit different than your Revu, but if you need to access any of these toolbars that are, so basically act as shortcuts, you can get to any markup, by coming to the tools menu and coming to the drop down and selecting them. As you can see, we also have the keyboard shortcuts for any of those. But if there are ones that we know we're going to use regularly, we do have our toolbars menu right here as well. And I can turn any of those on or off as needed. If there's other ones that I know I'm going to need more for certain types of work, certain types of plan review, then I can make those available to me and not have to have any of the others on, cluttering up my workspace if I don't need to. And if you weren't aware with the toolbars, you can grab these and move these around. Same as the panels here as well. You might notice that my properties panel is over on this side and my measurements panel is here as well. Just sort of depends on what is most effective for you to work. And that's also a big reason why we have the tools available here on the toolbars. We have the tools available here from our tools menu, and then, like I said, also the keyboard shortcuts are listed. It's kind of a nice thing about Revu is there are multiple ways to get to just about everything in Revu, and that's on purpose. It basically helps lean into that idea that whatever is the way that makes the most sense for you to get to that tool or command, that's the correct answer. So there's multiple ways to get to everything for that purpose. So if you're someone who makes use of the keyboard shortcuts and you don't even need the toolbars up here at the top, more power to you. So we have our different markups that we have available to us. We can alter these markups before they ever get applied to the page. We can, say with this cloud here, if I'm going to change some of its properties, we'll see properties here on this properties bar the moment that the tool is selected. But also, if we have our properties panel open, depending upon the tool or the markup, we'll have more or less features within this properties panel, but it just gives us some options before we even really get started. So let's say I apply that to the page, and this I know that this type of markup is something that I'm going to use regularly. It has shown up here in my recents. The recent tools does get cleared out every time that you close out your session of Revu, but for the time being, I can reselect that and it will allow me to redraw that same cloud in that same manner as before. Now, if you weren't aware, there are two different ways to use any of these tools. So there's drawing mode, which is what I just demonstrated. So it's going to take that same tool, but I'm just going to have to redraw it. Now there is something called a properties mode, which if I double click on this icon, you'll notice that icon has then changed, and it's going to be an exact copy of the original one. And this is called properties mode. So drawing mode wants you to draw it. Properties mode will be a complete copy of the properties, even the original design of that one, so that you can basically just reuse that exact copy. Let's say that you know that the that style, this same line style, this same color is something that you're going to have to use regularly. You can drag and drop that into any toolbox that you want to. I know in your My Tools, I think that they have a they have a suggested limit of 999, but otherwise you can fill up any of these tool sets quite full. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to make sure that that part was highlighted. The difference between the properties mode and drawing mode. Drawing mode is, like I said, it's going to want you to draw it out yourself. Whoops. It's going to want you to draw it, and if we're in properties mode, you can see that icon change, and like I said, that's going to be an exact copy of the one that we originally put down. Another useful tool that is, it's not necessarily a markup tool, but it can be, is something that I like to make use of, is the Snapshot tool. And the keyboard shortcut for that is G. I always like the ones that are single letters. You can't alter these, by the way, if you want to make any changes to the keyboard shortcuts as they exist. You can come to your preferences menu and go to your keyboard shortcuts and alter any of those that you want. But let's say there's something in the line work here that's on the page that we want to make use of again. Basically, what when you enact this command, you'll see my cursor has changed. So what it's wanting me to do is draw a box around what I am trying to copy here. So I'll select around that, and then I'll hit escape. Basically, what it turns into now is just cut and paste. So you would normally Control-C to copy. The same works here. You hit Control-V, and it gives you an exact copy of that line work that you just copied. So if you were needing to make changes to the drawing itself, you can actually copy the line work from the page and essentially create a tool out of that. And as you can see, it's maybe not the first time I've done that, but and then you can just drag and drop that and save that, and say I went to a completely different tool, and then I wanted to select that once more. I will always have that copy of that line work at my disposal. So just kind of that's a limited use case. In this instance, there's a lot more ways that we can use that snapshot tool, but I've always found that was a useful function for it. So now that we have we have some markups on the page, we can see everything has been populating here in our markups list. Nice thing about the markups list is beyond it keeping a running tally of all of the markups and measurements that we've put on the page, It does make for a quick way to navigate around the page. And it also kind of leads me to another aspect of Revu that is quite beneficial, especially as far as the collaborative aspects of Revu go. So if we're wanting to express something a little bit more than just a cloud, you know, if we need this cloud to be more meaningful in a way to disseminate more information about our meaning behind it, we can attach some more information to this cloud. So you know, I can double click on the cloud and I can come up into this area and type information, you know, some sort of comment. That's also going to be relayed down here into the markups list. If I right click on it, I can come down and let me do that a little bit higher. I don't know if that's on the screen. I can come down and hit reply. And then I can there again type out something, and that's also going to show up in my markups list, but it does differentiate itself from a standard comment. It does show up as a reply. So if you need to respond to someone who placed a markup, maybe ask for more clarification, there are other ways that we can, you know, provide more information to go along with these markups than just the markup itself. One other option that is available to us for these markups is, let me just get it selected here. If I wanted to, I kind of like to use the, where's my Punchkey, let's say something like this. And a lot of these tool sets that I have in here, if you weren't aware, are available for free on Bluebeam's website. I do know that there are some other third-party organizations that do make tool sets and do make them available. I don't have any experience with those myself, but Bluebeam does have a whole lot of tool sets that are available free to download on their website, which are very nice. Let's say, you know, this is a Punchkey carpentry markup that is going to, you know, let somebody know that the wall finishes in need of repair. I have the markup placed here, kind of would give someone a general vicinity of where this is taking place. But if I need to go a little bit farther than that, I can come down here and select capture, and that's either going to let me use my camera if I'm operating from a phone or a tablet, or I can go from file, navigate to where that file is, and open that up. So we do have the opportunity to be able to apply a lot more information that we can pass along with any of these markups than just the markups themselves. So moving on to the next phase of our plan review, we will take another look at the collaborative side of Revu 21, which also exists in Bluebeam Cloud as well. If you haven't made use of Bluebeam Cloud, it's quite handy. I think I can show you here. Oops. And it's just app.bluebeam.com. Nice thing about Bluebeam Cloud, it doesn't have all of the functionality that Revu 21 has, but it does have a lot. And you can also store your profiles, your tool sets, customized tools, things of that nature. And you can also access the Bluebeam Studio from Bluebeam Cloud. And the sign-in, it basically just utilizes the same login credentials that you use for Review 21, so there's nothing different there, nothing new to remember, which is pretty handy. But alongside Bluebeam Cloud, we have our Bluebeam Studio, which I'll open up in our panel down here. We have two different sides to this panel. We have our Bluebeam Studio Sessions and then our Bluebeam Studio Projects. I do have a project that I created for today, just a simple one. The nice thing about Review 21's studio panel, studio projects in particular, is where Review 21 is far more focused on just PDFs and PDF markup. The studio project will allow you to make use of a lot more file types than just simply PDFs. So if you have a project, you know, as most projects do, it incorporates a lot more file types than just PDFs. You know, you've got DWGs, you know, you've got, you know, you might have Revit family files, Word files, Excel files, different things. The studio projects will allow you to upload all of those and keep those within a file structure that you decide. You know, I just kind of have a few things here for just for example. You know, image files. I believe that there's, you know, really only like a handful of file types that can't be utilized in the studio project. So, you know, it can make a really handy situation where everyone can access and make use of the same files at the same time, you know, and perform the work that they need to, and keep all of this information centralized. And then as well as having that, you also have the option of being able to have a revision history for all of the files that are kept in studio projects. So I have opened that file here into Review. So this one is not I'm working on it in Review 21, but it's not hosted on my machine. It's not local. It's in their server. And opening it is all well and good, but I can't really actually do anything to it unless I check it out. And then that's where this button up here comes in. And then I can check it out, and I can also investigate the revision history if I want to see what changes have been made to this document, or even revert back to a previous iteration of the document. I can do that as well. Another aspect that is really handy for the studio project is the capability to be able to open a PDF into a studio session directly from studio project. So I just need to hover over this PDF file right here. I right click and I can come right down and say add to new session. And let's just go ahead and give it the same same name here. And when that has completed, it automatically moves me over to the studio session panel, and I have the document already loaded into it, and I can click on it, and you can see the difference in the icon along the top with the tab here. It's letting me know that that's where this PDF exists now, is within this studio project. And so any of the work that gets done, you know, any markups that get made, any communication that takes place, whether it be within the markups list or right here, you know, in the chat function that Studio Sessions has, I have that capability to keep a full record of this. And when this session closes out, that information is then transferred back to the file that is hosted in the studio project. So myself and other members of my team can get together, apply the markups that we need to, and you know, for the duration that this session is open, we can keep these things, you know, keep this session active until all of the work is completed, or, you know, if I need it to close out at a certain time, I can alter that here in my my session settings. If I need to put a hard stop on that, then I can, you know, come here and you know, set a strict time of when this session will close out, and after that, everything else will, what, you know, like I said, once this session has closed out, all of that information then gets saved and then becomes part of the file that is still saved here within my studio project. So it's, you know, we can have this same file exist in different areas and you know, accomplish different tasks without having to have multiple copies floating around, people having different versions of it, you know, and have, you know, basically just having too much of a paper trail, or too many ways that mistakes can get made. If the file is kept centralized and the work is always done to the same files overall, you know, then we'll know that that work is safe and secure. And then even with the other file types, anytime you were to click and open one of these, it just opens up in its native program, which you can kind of really tell that from the icon anyway. Yeah, once we have everything completed within our studio session, you know, all I really need to do to finalize that would be to finish the session, and it's going to allow me to save that information and download that, and then also, like I said, keep that as a part of my studio project. And once all of that work is completed, all of the markups that we need to pass along back to our, move that guy out, that we need to pass back to our CAD designer, all of that information can then go along over to them, and along with the markups themselves, if I need to provide even more information to go along with this PDF, let me get back to my thumbnail panel here. Let's say I want to also include all of this markup data along with this PDF to send this back to my CAD designer for the changes that need to be made. I can come here to my markup summary, and I'll just go ahead and select it as a PDF. It seems like it works a little bit better this way for this example anyway. So there again, to start, I'll, you know, just select the open file that I have. If I need to add more PDFs to that, I can do that through this drop down here. If I don't need all of my columns, you know, I can select them all or not select them all. It just depends on which ones I have that have data that are worthwhile. And I'll just select a few of these. We do have ways of filtering and sorting these. There's it can get pretty complex, you know, depending upon how it's all in how you want this data to be relayed once it completes with this command. If we're going to export it as a PDF, like I decided from the get-go, I don't have to stick with that. I can change that here if I want to. One thing that's nice about that is I can check this box, and it will basically make this exporting of this markup summary a part of the PDF that I already have open. So there's a lot of other options we can make for this, but for the time being, I'll just go ahead and click OK just to show how this looks when we go about the markup summary. So as we can see here in my thumbnail panel, now added on to the PDF that we already had open is the markup summary. And if we take a closer look at these, we can see the information that's included along with that. If I had a capture, that capture would also show up here, any image files I had associated with any of these markups. And there again, similar to how the markups list itself works, if I click on any of these, it's going to take me right to where that markup exists on the page. So I don't have to do a whole lot of hunting to find this information. I do have a thumbnail that kind of gives me a relative idea of where it exists, but if I need to navigate immediately to it just to get a better idea of the information that's trying to be passed along, I can click on it here and it's just going to put it front and center for me. So that's just another way that we can collect all of this information and keep it in a centralized location and make sure that we're passing along the most complete information possible to give back to our CAD designers to effectively make those changes that we need to see on the next revision of this sheet. So and then this would be the point where we would wrap things up here and get all of this back to the CAD designer and they can finish their work. So, but that's like I said, this can get a lot more detailed than what I am making it currently for this presentation. But I just kind of wanted to give that overview. I'm just real quick again, just because I feel like it's important to sort of note those differences when exporting from AutoCAD. So we have our create PDF, which is just a standard PDF creation process. This we can change some settings to that, but it's a pretty much a straightforward, just click the button and it happens. But it just sort of depends on how we're needing that to occur. Like I said, if we're wanting to make use of that layer data, we are going to want to make sure that we have this box selected here. And then just to kind of go through that process again real quick. So from our export button here, we'll click that and get our drop down and come to our PDF button and come over here to options, and we'll click on that. And like I said, if there are bookmarks, hyperlinks, and layer information, all of which are usable and very important in Revu. If we want to make sure that all of that information gets passed along with this PDF as we're exporting it, we're going to want to make sure that these boxes are checked. And that will put us on the right path right from the get-go. As soon as we get into Revu 21, that'll make sure that we have all of that. Whoops, I accidentally closed that one. But that will make sure that we have everything that we need for our layer information. If there are bookmarks associated there within that CAD file, they're going to follow us over here to Revu, and the same with our hyperlinks. If any of those exist, then they will be passed along as well, and that will allow us to make use of them in Revu the same way. So I believe that really kind of wraps up all of the information that I really wanted to put forth today. If anybody has any questions, you can feel free to type them into the question side of things. Oh yeah. Can they also include the drawing scale? Yes, yes. In AutoCAD, that can be done as well. Yeah, if you have a huge set of plans, and you have now, I am not I'm no CAD expert by the way, so I'm not going to get in the ins and outs of that, but I do know that that can be done in AutoCAD as far as setting the scale, so you don't have to do it all on your own. So you know that I do know that if we're needing to set the scale, if we're needing to set the scale for multiple pages at the same time, you know, we do have that option here if it comes to it. You know, like it can be done, but they didn't do it, as opposed to having to apply the scale to, you know, one page at a time. If the scale is the same for all of the pages, then you can do it this way. But yes, that scale can be set in AutoCAD before it reaches review. So there again, that's like I said, I'm not the best person to ask about the functionality of AutoCAD, but I do know that is a possibility. Any other questions? Anything that I had covered that anyone would like to see again? Oh, one other thing I did want to cover while we're here, which is handy that Revu does have this web tab feature. I know the web tab does not have a search feature yet, but I also know that that's something that they are working hard on. So we should have that pretty soon. But the Bluebeam Unbound conference is coming up pretty soon. I know that they have a whole lot going on with it this year. It has been it's been gone, you know, for a couple of years, but they're bringing it back this year. I think in previous years it was called XCon, but it's called Bluebeam Unbound this year. Is going to be a pretty big to do. They do have, you know, some different passes available. I'm going to be there. If anybody wants to come and say hi, I'll be over there at our Seiler booth. You know, I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. It's over in Washington, D.C. this year, so should be pretty fun. Well, I suppose if there are, markup summary, sure. Let's see. So the best way to get that summary exported is just this little button right here. And then we can click on that. And there are a few different ways we can export that, CSV, XML, PDF, or if you just want to send it straight to a printer, PDF summary is the way that I did it. Like I said, that they're between, you know, selecting what columns you want available and how you want that information filtered. There is a lot of options. You do have the ability to save this configuration. Like if you don't really want to have to go through all of these decisions again, you can just save a specific configuration and then load that, and then the markup summary will always look like that. And one other thing that it's important, I believe, is if you're going to export it as a PDF, as I did, keep that check mark, that box checked, and it will attach it right to the PDF that you already have open, and also automatically hyperlink anything as well. So it gives you that ability to navigate right to where those markups are. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, okay, combining multiple sheets from CAD into Bluebeam. The way that that I recommend, or am also familiar with, is let me switch over to AutoCAD. Would be, you know, if I had multiple pages from these CAD drawings that I wanted to export out to review, that would be our batch PDF. that's going to allow us to, well, it's going to let me know that I have unsaved changes. I can populate this as I need to, and then export all of them out at the same time. I believe that if I, let's see, like I said, CAD's not exactly my strong suit. I probably know a little bit more about Revit than I do CAD, but I know it can be done with the batch setup. Oh, we also have the batch plot over here, which will also give us those those options of you know, plotting to a PDF, and you know, we can select multiple pages that way. Those would be the two ways that I would recommend the most. So let's see. Oh, can you lock a PDF once you have flattened it? Yes. There's a few different ways we can go about that. Running a little short on time, probably one of the better ways to do it. Let's just say we're going to, let's just say I can flatten it here and select it and make sure that, you know, depend upon what I have that I want flattened. One of the ways that I know is rather impenetrable as far as locking down a PDF so that no other changes can be made to it would be adding a signature. So let me see here. Actually, let me just do it from up here. So we have our signatures right here in our drop down. So I'll go to sign the document. I'm just going to place it right here real quick. You do have to have a digital ID created. It's going to give you a preview of it here. Depending upon what you want done with this signature, you know, if you want, if you're just applying a signature, that's one thing. It does allow you to provide some reasons, and you can provide some more information. But if you come down here to document certification, you can actually decide, you know, okay, so if you have forms or other signature boxes that can be made use of, those can still remain active. Markups, forms, and signatures can still remain active. Or if I want to lock it down completely, no changes allowed. And so once I apply my signature by clicking OK, this PDF becomes thoroughly read-only. Nothing else will be able to happen with this PDF other than being able to view it. That's the only thing that will be possible after applying that signature. So, you know, if it's something that, you know, all of the review process has been completed and you want to make sure that this is the final version of it, that would be a great way to lock it down, essentially. So, okay, well, it looks like we're out of time. Again, I appreciate everyone being here with us for this webinar, and I hope you found the information useful. And I'm sure I will be doing another one again here soon in the future. So hopefully you liked my presentation style, and maybe I'll see you all again in the future. And if you run into me at Bluebeam Unbound, come and say hi. All right, well, I appreciate it. Everybody have a good day.